Taking charge of yourself. Look over your shoulder. You will notice a constant companion. For want of a better name, call him your own death. You can fear this visitor or use him for your personal gain. The choice is up to you. With death so endless a proposition and life so breathtakingly brief, ask yourself, should I avoid doing the things I really want to do? Should I live my life as others want me to? Are things important to accumulate? Is putting it off the way to live? Chances are your answers can be summed up in a few words. Live, be you, enjoy, love. You can fear your death ineffectually, or you can use it to help you learn to live effectively. Listen to Tolstoy's Ivan Ilyich as he awaits the great leveler, contemplating a past which was thoroughly dominated by others, a life in which he had given up control of himself in order to fit into a system. What if my whole life has been wrong? It occurred to him that what had appeared perfectly impossible before, namely that he had not spent his life as he should have done, might after all be true. It occurred to him that his scarcely noticeable impulses, which he had immediately suppressed, might have been the real thing and the rest false. And his professional duties and the whole arrangement of his life and of his family and all his social and official interests might all have been false. He tried to defend all those things to himself and suddenly felt the weakness of what he was defending. There was nothing to defend. The next time you are contemplating a decision in which you are debating whether or not to take charge of yourself, to make your own choice, ask yourself an important question: how long am I going to be dead? With that eternal perspective, you can now make your own choice and leave the worrying, the fears, the question of whether you can afford it, and the guilt to those who are going to be alive forever. If you don't begin taking these steps, you can anticipate living your entire life the way others say you must. Surely if your sojourn on earth is so brief, it ought at least to be pleasing to you. In a word, it's your life. Do with it what you want. Taking charge of yourself involves putting to rest some very prevalent myths. At the top of the list is the notion that intelligence is measured by your ability to solve complex problems, to read, write, and compute at certain levels, and to resolve abstract equations quickly. This vision of intelligence predicates formal education and bookish excellence as the true measures of self-fulfillment. It encourages a kind of intellectual snobbery that has brought with it some demoralizing results. We have come to believe that someone who has more educational merit badges, who is a whiz at some form of scholastic discipline, math, science, a huge vocabulary, a memory for superfluous facts, a fast reader, is intelligent. Yet mental hospitals are clogged with patients who have all of the properly lettered credentials, as well as many who don't. A truer barometer of intelligence is an effective, happy life lived each day and each present moment of every day. If you are happy, if you live each moment for everything it's worth, then you are an intelligent person. Problem solving is a useful adjunct to your happiness, but if you know that given your inability to resolve a particular concern, you can still choose happiness for yourself, or at a minimum refuse to choose unhappiness, then you are intelligent. You are intelligent because you have the ultimate weapon against the big N. B, D, yep, nervous breakdown. Perhaps you will be surprised to learn that there is no such thing as a nervous breakdown. Nerves don't break down. Cut someone open and look for the broken nerves. They never show up. Intelligent. People do not have Napur Bhavanam D. It's because they are in charge of themselves. They know how to choose happiness over depression because they know how to deal with the problems of their lives. Notice I didn't say solve the problems. Rather than measuring their intelligence on their ability to solve the problem, they measure it on their capacity for maintaining themselves as happy and worthy, whether the problem gets solved or not. You can begin to think of yourself as truly intelligent on the basis of how you choose to feel in the face of trying circumstances. The life struggles are pretty much the same for each of us. Everyone who is involved with other human beings in any social context has similar difficulties. Disagreements, conflicts, and compromises are a part of what it means to be human. Similarly, money, growing old, sickness, deaths, natural disasters, and accidents are all events which present problems to virtually all human beings. But some people are able to make it to avoid immobilizing dejection and unhappiness despite such occurrences, while others collapse, become inert, or have an N. B. D. Those who recognize problems as a human condition and don't measure happiness by an absence of problems are the most intelligent kind of humans we know, also the most rare. Learning to take total charge of yourself will involve a whole new thinking process, one which may prove difficult because too many forces in our society conspire against individual responsibility. You must trust in your own ability to feel emotionally whatever you choose to feel at any time in your life. This is a radical notion. You've probably grown up believing that you can't control your own emotions, that anger, fear, and hate, as well as love, ecstasy, and joy, are things that happen to you. An individual doesn't control these things, he accepts them. When sorrowful events occur, you just naturally feel sorrow and hope that some happy events will come along so that you can feel good very soon. Yes, choosing how you'll feel. Feelings are not just emotions that happen to you. Feelings are reactions you choose to have. If you are in charge of your own emotions, you don't have to choose self-defeating reactions. Once you learn that you can feel what you choose to feel, you will be on the road to intelligence, a road where there are no bypaths that lead to N. D. S. This road will be new because you'll see a given emotion as a choice rather than as a condition of life. This is the very heart and soul of personal freedom. You can attack the myth of not being in charge of your emotions through logic. By using a simple syllogism, a formulation in logic, in which you have a major premise, a minor premise, and a conclusion based upon the agreement between the two premises, you can begin the process of being in charge of yourself, both thinkingly and emotionally. Logic. Syllogism. Major premise, Aristotle is a man. Minor premise, all men have facial hair. Conclusion, Aristotle has facial hair illogic. Syllogism. Major premise, Aristotle has facial hair. Minor premise, all men have facial hair. Conclusion, Aristotle is a man. It is clear that you must be careful as you employ logic that your major and minor premises agree. In the second illustration, Aristotle could be an ape or a mole. Here is a logical exercise that can forever put to rest the notion that you cannot take charge of your own emotional world. Major premise, I can control my thoughts. Minor premise, my feelings come from my thoughts. Conclusion, I can control my feelings. Your major premise is clear. You have the power to think whatever you choose to allow into your head. If something just pops into your head, you choose to put it there, though you may not know why. You still have the power to make it go away, and therefore you still control your mental world. I can say to you, think of a pink antelope, and you can turn it green or make it an aardvark, or simply think of something else if you so choose. You alone control what enters your head as a thought. If you don't believe this, just answer this question. If you don't control your thoughts, who does? Is it your spouse, or your boss, or your mama? And if they control what you think, then send them off for therapy, and you will instantly get better. But you really know otherwise. You and only you control your thinking apparatus, other than under extreme kinds of brainwashing or conditioning experimentation settings which are not a part of your life. Your thoughts are your own, uniquely yours, to keep, change, share, or contemplate, retain. No one else can get inside your head and have your own thoughts as you experience them. You do indeed control your thoughts, and your brain is your own to use as you so determine. Your minor premise is hardly debatable if you examine the research as well as your own common sense. You cannot have a feeling, emotion, without first having experienced a thought. Take away your brain and your ability to feel is wiped out. A feeling is a physical reaction to a thought. If you cry or blush or increase your heartbeat or any of an interminable list of potential emotional reactions, you have first had a signal from your thinking center. Once your thinking center is damaged or short-circuited, you cannot experience emotional reactions. With certain kinds of lesions in the brain, you cannot even experience physical pain, and your hand could literally fry on a stove burner with no sensation of pain. You know that you cannot bypass your think center and experience any feelings in your body. Thus, your minor premise is lodged in truth. Every feeling that you have was preceded by a thought, and without a brain, you can have no feelings. Your conclusion is also inescapable. If you control your thoughts and your feelings come from your thoughts, then you are capable of controlling your own feelings. And you control your feelings by working on the thoughts that preceded them. Simply put, you believe that things or people make you unhappy, but this is not accurate. You make yourself unhappy because of the thoughts that you have about the people or things in your life. Becoming a free and healthy person involves learning to think differently. Once you can change your thoughts, your new feelings will begin to emerge, and you will have taken the first step on the road to your personal freedom.